Title: I agreed to watch my brother's child for a few days. I think I accidentally became responsible for something much bigger. I've rewritten this post more times than I can count. Every time I try to summarize what's been happening, it either sounds exaggerated or completely insane. So I'm going to do what everyone on Reddit always advises and just start from the beginning. 2 weeks ago, my older brother Alex called me at 11:47 p.m. That alone was strange enough to make me answer immediately. Alex doesn't call late. He barely calls at all unless it's something important. We're not estranged, but we've never been close in the way siblings sometimes are. We grew up together, shared a room for a while, fought constantly as kids, then drifted apart as adults. We check in on birthdays, we show up to family dinners. That's about it. When I answered, he didn't say hello. "I need you to help me," he said. His voice was hoarse, like he'd been whispering or arguing for hours. I asked him what was wrong. He hesitated for a moment, then said he needed someone to watch Matthew for a few days. Matthew is his son. He's 5. Alex told me things were complicated between him and Matthew's mother. He said lawyers were involved. He said there were accusations flying around, and he didn't want Matthew stuck in the middle while things cooled down. "Just a few days," he said. "I swear, I'll come get him as soon as this is over." I remember sitting on my couch, phone pressed to my ear, staring at the wall while he talked. Something about the way he spoke made me uneasy. He sounded rushed, not panicked exactly, but like someone who felt time closing in on them. I asked him why he couldn't ask our parents. "They don't need to be dragged into this," he said quickly. I asked why Matthew couldn't stay with his mom. There was a long pause. "It's better if he stays with you," Alex said finally. That should have been the moment I said no. Instead, I said yes. The next morning, Alex showed up at my apartment with Matthew around 7 a.m. They both looked exhausted. Matthew was clutching a small backpack and his stuffed dinosaur. Alex looked like he hadn't slept at all. His eyes were red. His clothes were wrinkled. He kept glancing over his shoulder like he expected someone to be there. He barely came inside. He set Matthew's backpack down, knelt in front of him, and hugged him tightly. Matthew wrapped his arms around his neck and didn't let go right away. "I'll be back soon, buddy," Alex said softly. "Be good, okay?" Matthew nodded, but he didn't look convinced. Alex stood up and turned to me. "There's food money in the bag," he said, "and clothes, and—" He stopped, ran a hand through his hair, and shook his head. "I'll explain everything later." Then he left. No paperwork, no emergency contacts, no explanation beyond a few days. I watched him walk down the hallway until the elevator doors closed. At the time, I told myself I was being dramatic. Parents fight, custody disputes get messy. He probably just needed space. I had no idea that moment would be the last time I'd see him for months. Update 1, 3 days later. Title: My brother isn't responding, and my nephew keeps saying things that don't feel normal. The first couple of days passed without incident. Matthew was easy, honestly. He was polite. He ate what I made. He spent hours lining up his toy cars on my living room floor, carefully arranging them by color. He laughed at cartoons and asked permission before touching anything. But he asked the same question at least 10 times a day. "When is Daddy coming back?" At first, I answered confidently, "Soon." By day 3, that word started to feel heavy. I tried calling Alex that morning, straight to voicemail. I sent a text telling him everything was fine and asking when he planned to pick Matthew up. No response. That night, Matthew woke up crying. I rushed into his room and found him sitting upright in bed, clutching his dinosaur so tightly his knuckles were white. He kept saying, "I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back." I asked him where. He shrugged, wiped his face with his sleeve, and said, "There." Kids aren't great at explaining things, I know that. But the way he said it wasn't dramatic or hysterical. It sounded like a statement of fact. I tucked him back into bed, told him he was safe, and stayed with him until he fell asleep. Then I sat in the dark living room, staring at my phone, refreshing my messages. Alex never replied. Update 2, 6 days later. Title: Nobody seems to know where my brother is. By day 6, my concern had turned into full-blown anxiety. I called Alex repeatedly. I texted him. I emailed him. Nothing. Finally, I called our parents. They were confused. They thought Matthew was staying with his mom. That conversation made my stomach drop. I called Matthew's mom immediately. She sounded irritated when she answered, like she thought I was calling to argue. When I asked her where Alex was, she went quiet. "I thought he had Matthew," she said slowly. Neither of them knew where Alex was. She told me they'd had a massive fight about 2 weeks ago. Accusations, threats, talk of court. Alex had accused her of trying to take Matthew away from him. She accused him of hiding things and lying. Then Alex disappeared. That night, after Matthew went to sleep, I finally looked through his backpack properly. In a small side pocket, folded so tightly it almost blended into the fabric, was a piece of paper. 4 words, written in messy handwriting. "If something happens, don't let them take him." I stared at that note for a long time. I didn't sleep at all. Update 3, 9 days later. Title: I tried to do the responsible thing. It backfired immediately. I knew I couldn't keep a child indefinitely without any legal proof that I was allowed to. So I decided to do what I thought was the responsible thing. I took Matthew to a pediatric clinic. I explained that I was his uncle, that his father was unavailable, that I needed his medical records in case of an emergency. The receptionist asked for insurance information. I didn't have it. She asked for his birth certificate. I didn't have that either. She typed something into her computer, frowned slightly, and said, "That's odd." Apparently, Matthew wasn't listed under Alex's address anymore. I asked where he was registered. She said she wasn't allowed to tell me. That afternoon, there was a knock on my door. A man and a woman stood in the hallway. They showed badges, social services. They asked if Matthew was inside. Update 4, same day. Title: Social services came to my apartment. I felt physically sick. They asked where Alex was. I told them the truth. I didn't know. They asked if I had documentation proving I had permission to care for Matthew. I didn't. Matthew stood behind me, gripping my leg. When the woman knelt down to talk to him, he started shaking. "Please don't take me," he whispered. I told them they couldn't take him without a court order. They left, but they said they'd be back. That night, I received a message from an unknown number. It was Alex. Update 5, later that night. Title: My brother finally contacted me. The message was short. "I'm sorry. I can't explain everything. You have to trust me. Keep Matthew safe. Don't give him to anyone, not even Mom." I asked where he was. No reply. I asked if he was in danger. No reply. Then his phone went offline. I sat on my couch for hours, staring at the wall, listening to Matthew breathe in the next room. Update 6, 2 weeks later. Title: Everything turned into court dates and paperwork. Social services came back, this time with police. There were interviews, home inspections, background checks, lawyers. Matthew's mom wanted him back immediately. Our parents were furious at Alex. Everyone wanted answers I didn't have. Matthew stopped asking when his dad was coming back. That scared me more than anything. Final update 4 months later. Title: This isn't how I expected my life to turn out. Alex was eventually found. Alive. I can't share details, but I understand now why he was so desperate. After months of hearings and evaluations, the court granted me temporary guardianship. Matthew still lives with me. I never planned to be a parent, but I don't regret saying yes.